Violence against women and children at shocking levels in our country. It's been widely reported. This week, we focus on children's rights with National Child Protection Week. Government calling on all South Africans to support the initiative. But how exactly do we do that? Let's bring into the conversation Neliswa Cekiso, who is the Director of the Department of Social Development. Neliswa, good morning to you. And when we ask for communities and South Africans to support Child Protection Week, how exactly does the ordinary South African actually do that? Good morning.
Good morning, Gareth, and viewers of eNCA. Gareth, Child Protection Week, we are saying that this is the time that as government, civil society, and, the NGOs across the country, we are calling on working together to care and protect children. And we have done dialogues, from February, which is actually part of our 365 Days Child Protection Campaign, to say that communities, it is our responsibilities as a collective to care and protect children, especially in this time where we see the rise in teenage pregnancy, because the statistics that we see, it's alarming. It's really indicating that the levels of neglect, abuse, exploitation of children is very high. Therefore, we must intensify our interventions, make our services known, and embracing children as well, because we've got child ambassadors across the country who are also playing the role of being mouthpiece, influencing their peers on how, as government, civil society, communities, and children themselves, we embrace the holistic promotion of the rights of children.
And I see that UNICEF is always heavily involved in the government campaign of Child Protection Week as well. And I'm seeing just one of their articles from some time ago, Neliswa. They're talking as well about parents who need to be supported in child protection as well. Yes, you have the schools, you have the counsellors, and you have the children themselves. But do you get the sense that parents these days have the tools necessary to protect their own children?
I would say yes, Gareth. We do have the tools. For instance, one of the programs that we have in the department, and including, our partners in child protection, for instance, FAMSA, we've got parenting programs which are there to build the capacity of parents to care and protect children. However, we need to understand that at times, parents work far away from home, leaving children vulnerable without any proper support or guidance. As the department, we have ensured that we've got drop-in centers which provides community-based prevention and early intervention program, because we realize that our children are vulnerable. Therefore, it is important that we build their resilience. And this specific program that we're talking about, it is Resiha, meaning we are moving children from vulnerability to resilience. And in the country, we've got 1,200 drop-in centers, reaching at the current moment 172,000 children. We also have, child and youth care centers where, when parents are unable to care for children, therefore the state steps in to really provide that support to children, whilst at the same time building the capacity of parents, whether they need rehabilitation, whatever reason that has led to the neglect of a child, then the department steps in by placing these children in the children's home. As I've indicated, for drop-in centers, we've got 1,200 across the country. For child and youth care centers, which is the children's homes, we've got 449. So these are some of the interventions that we have as the department. But I need to indicate, Gareth, that we also have other programs where we have identified that children themselves, they need to be capacitated. For instance, we've got a program we call YOLO, You Only Live Once, which basically ensures that children are educated to make right decisions, because decisions that they make today have got long-term consequences for their lives.
So
We also
YOLO
have
is
Show Me.
one of the campaigns. Neliswa, I want to ask you just about the children and getting an education as well. It did make me think of child-headed households in this country. It's one thing for us to sit here and talk about parents who have the support and need the support to protect their own children, but child-headed households are still a big issue in this country. How do we try and deal with that? Because a young child isn't necessarily equipped to look after a household of siblings.
Thank you, Gareth, for that. It is very important that during this time, we also sensitize communities that where there are child-headed households, please help us identify those households so that they can be linked with available services. Gareth, I must indicate that when we speak about a child-headed household, we're speaking about a household that is led by or managed by a 16-year-old that has been assessed thoroughly to check if this child has got the capacity, to take care of his or her own siblings. That assessment is done by the social workers. So it's important that community members, neighbors, even family members, if they cannot take care of those children, they must do the reporting to the Department of Social Development so that those children can also access social services, because we are saying now those children can actually access a grant. So the 16-year-old can even access the grant for his or her younger siblings. That provision is made in terms of our Social Assistance Act. Also assisted, with the support of our child and youth care workers who actually work with a designated adult, because we're saying that such child-headed household should not be left alone. There must be a designated adult that supervises, guide and support, working together with a child and youth care worker, who also ensures that such children are assisted with homework. Yeah. Should they not cope, then we move those children into foster care or children's home so that we relieve and minimize the vulnerabilities that they might be confronted.
And that's exactly the point of Child Protection Week as well. Neliswa, I really appreciate the last answer around child-headed households as well. If anyone knows of a child-headed household and there are concerns, to get hold of the Department of Social Development. There are support structures in place. They won't be abandoned to look after their siblings by themselves. Neliswa Cekiso, Director of Child Protection at Social Development, joining us this morning as we continue our focus throughout the week of Child Protection Week.